beautiful collectors and action figure fans, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Autobot Ratchet. Celebrating a whole bunch of characters across the different live-action movies, the Studio Series basically allows Hasbro and Takara Tomy to revisit these characters with a little bit better and more accurate-looking representation of themselves, as they appeared in the movies. As for Ratchet here, I do believe this is just a repaint of the previous release Deluxe Class Ratchet with some nice improvements to the color and stuff. But for the package, nice open window. You got the Transformers logo. Great artwork here on the side. You can see his little buzzsaw. I've always really liked this. I just wish he was bigger, to be totally honest. I wish like they took this and made it a Voyager size. I would love that. Come around to the side. You got some nice art there as well. The back of the package shows different figures that are currently available in this first wave. And it says that Autobot Ratchet clears the path with steadfast speed until he dies. Spoiler alert, I guess I should have said that before. But you can see that the Studio Series includes a backdrop, and it is a big screen inspired scale, detail, backdrop, all that kind of stuff. But really nice, well, not really collector friendly, because once you open this, you're probably stuck with it being open. But overall, pretty nice package on these. I do like it. And then as I talked about the other ones, depending on what movie they're predominantly featured in, the logo here changes. So you got Transformers there, Crowbar said Dark of the Moon, Stinger said Age of Extinction, things like that. So I do like that. But for the packaging here on Ratchet, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Hey guys, so here we have the new Deluxe Class Ratchet from the Transformers Studio Series open up and out of its packaging. And obviously, as you can see, I have him displayed with his background diorama. It comes in the packaging. It's a separate piece. You just pull it out, and it has the scene here from the end battle. And then you taking this off, you can see Studio Series, Transformers, says Transformers, Generations, and that's it. And I said that this was mostly just a repaint of the Age of Extinction figure, and boy, was I completely wrong. Huge shout out to a lot of my followers over on Twitter that corrected me. I do apologize. I don't remember your name, but you actually showed me an image of this Ratchet and the Age of Extinction Ratchet in robot mode, and there's a lot that's different. It shares very similar engineering as all of these Studio Series figures do, but much different, much more accurate looking. It does have some liberties taken with some of the paints and details such as that, but in general, really good looking toy. Small. It is a tiny figure, bringing in the Suburban, what was his name? Crowbar. You can see they're about the same size. That's actually a pretty good scale, I would probably say. So that doesn't really look all that bad. Robot mode is where these are meant to kind of scale. Here we have the Deluxe Class Stinger, but you can see that this is pretty big by comparison. You know, an H2 Hummer is much bigger than a little tiny sports car. But really good looking figure nonetheless. As you can see, he does come with his little Buzzsaw accessory. It has this nice silver paint on there. You kind of have like two layers of Buzzsaw-iness on there, and kind of cool looking from the back as well. I did that. You can plug it into the top spare tire. You can also plug it into the side here. People have been doing that, and be like, well, that's kind of a pointless weapon unless you're really close to the car. And you know, then the other joke was I saw someone else make this, that I'm like, oh, that's a really effective weapon if in case there's low flying birds flying around. And it's weapon storage. I mean, it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. These are mostly just holes for the robot mode anyhow, so it's not like, I mean, you can do it, but it's not really meant for that. It's more meant for that back section right there. But overall, pretty decent. Coming in, take a closer look at it. You can see he's got the Autobot Fire and Rescue symbol right there. You got the pulse thing. You get the Department Fire. Department Fire. Well, now that just looks stupid. It says Department Fire. Now, I mean, some ambulances will have things backwards so that when you see it in a rearview mirror, you'll read ambulance. But when you actually look at it, it's backwards. That's just... What? That's dumb. Okay, search and rescue. I mean, I guess I see why they did it, because it's like you got a smaller section there and a bigger section. So that just looks really ridiculous, because you here in America, where we speak English, you read left to right, so that's why that looks weird, I suppose, to me. But you got some nice blue paint in the front section. You got a little bit of orange for the turn signals. It looks like a very dark translucent windshield, almost impossible to see through it. You got some nice black paint for the windows here. You got the little siren up there. You can see I got a little scuff on mine. You got the little blue lights. Overall, I mean, very greenish yellow. He does have nice black paint for the back section. It would be nice if they had some silver or something else that, I mean, not so much, I mean, like these bits up here, you have like little tiny molded in, if it'll focus on it, you can see where it's like molded in shovels and tools and stuff like that. That would be nice if that was painted in and given a silver coat or something, and then you got little molded in bits right there. That would be nice if that had some extra paint detail. Same with the back. As it is, it's just a lot of molded green plastic, which kind of hurts the overall look of the figure, but I guess it's not terrible or anything. He rolls. One thing I will say though is these little bits right here, they transform. It's kind of a pain in the butt to keep these straight to have them roll. Otherwise, they kind of turn on you. So that's a little bit tricky to keep there, but it does roll pretty decently. Can't really complain too much with that. Transformation, if you do have that previous mold. Now, one thing that I'll tell you is I don't believe I ever reviewed that deluxe one. I went and looked through my old videos. I don't see it anywhere, so I don't think I ever actually got it. So this is kind of newish for me. So first we're going to kind of pull these away. These little pieces here kind of tuck up underneath this grill section, so you have to kind of pull that away and then slide this out from underneath. And we're just gonna move that up just like so. Gonna get that out of the way. Take this, you want to detach this. These little bits right here do tab on the top section just like that. And you're going to, then this whole section here spins. It's tricky, but you want to just spin the middle section, not this section, just the middle bit right there. So get that rotated around. I'm gonna bring these arms down and then angle this. Okay, I mean, you don't have to do this right now, but you might as well. Rotate this section around like that. Oh, that does kind of move away. Now, you have a little tab on this gray bit that you need to rotate these tires around, and then on the inside here is the little slot. So you just bring that around. It's a little bit tricky to get it lined up. Mostly because there's a lot of different hinges and ball joints right here, and this thing moves, and you can see that flops around. This piece here moves, that hinges. It's tricky to get it, but you just kind of line it up, give that a good squeeze, and it'll kind of be in this triangular shape like that. So we're going to do that on this side as well. Do that there. Rotate this piece around. Bring this around. Again, you want to keep that little tab section facing forward, and then move all of this stuff around. Squeeze that in like that. And there you have his robot mode. This whole thing swivels down. You can take this piece right here, and this will detach, although it's really stiff, so let me use my little sword. There we go. Just attach that, and then you bring that down, push that in, and that just kind of dangles right there. Kind of get that out of the way. Come around here to this, fold these little pieces out like so. Then take this, pull this away from the body, and then all of this here will rotate out. You got his feet and everything. Pull all that out. This piece here will collapse. That will collapse. Then the little section here that you tabbed this into will plug into a little slot right there. Just give that a nice little push. Locks everything in there very nicely. Rotate this around. Get that all the way around. Rotate his feet. Point them. Rotate his feet. Point them. Straighten them out. Kind of hinge everything. Again, make sure everything stays tabbed in very nicely up there. That looks pretty good. That looks good. That looks good. And there you have the new Deluxe Class Ratchet in his really cool but very neon green robot mode. And this game really does look good. There are some aspects, like I was talking about, that I'm not a fan of. But in general, I'm really impressed with how this guy turned out. Now, as you can see, you can put his blade weapon on that little side piece. You can also take it off, and you can have him hold it. It's personal preference. It is fairly loose in his hands, though, but you can see his hands are really goofy. You got like these dual thumb things, which you might not be able to see because it's very bright. And then the little middle finger, so it's like he's, I don't even know how you would recreate that, but alien looking. Let's see, does he hold it better than that? No, it's fairly loose in there. I think it looks a little bit better on the side, but you have that. Now, while as good as this guy looks, again, I thought that there was not much different. It is a vastly different figure. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't have it, so I can't really do a comparison for you. You're just going to have to take my word for it. But this guy really does look good. The only thing that's ugly on him is this. I mean, it's not egregiously ugly. I mean, you see it dangling there. I feel that there could have been a way that they could have put a hinge on this to get it to fold up more onto his back. I just... That's the only thing that I don't like. I guess, you know, trying to see if there's really any... I mean, you can leave it like that. I mean, that kind of leaves that dangling on the back. I guess that looks a little bit better if you left it like so. So you could do something like that. You just fold that middle section up and keep that kind of tabbed up there. That's a little bit better. I mean, he still has the piece down here dangling. I suppose you could just unscrew that. That's just a screw. So I wonder if this whole thing, you know, and actually, I'm gonna check something. Now, folks, I am a professional, so please do not try this at home. So let's see what this does. You take that little piece out. Well, you know, I don't know what I ended up dropping, but that comes off, and then, I mean, I guess you could still tab it on there. I mean, so that could tab still. I'm just kind of playing with it. I mean, that cleans it up a lot better, if you ask me, and then you can rotate that and kind of tab that on there, as opposed to, I mean, because let's see, you had it like that, and then if you left it tabbed up here, like I said, I mean, if you had that here, I mean, I'm just playing around, guys. You're here along the ride, so that does stick down. If you detach that and left that kind of there, that looks a little bit better, I guess, doesn't it? Maybe? I don't know. Is there another little... I guess there's not really another little thing you can hook that onto, but I feel like you could move that up there or something. I mean, that wouldn't look all that bad, I don't think, but in general, I mean, it's either you're going to have it dangling down like that, or up there. That does compress it up a little bit more, so yeah, that works. I'm gonna go like that. That does make him look a little bit better. I mean, at least it's not dangling down nearly as much. Oh, and here's what I dropped. It was his tire. So, yeah, I mean, that's gonna come off, obviously. But I mean, that's, well, let's see. If you keep that tabbed in there, you can tuck that and still leave that pegged on there, and then you can, you know, actually, that's not a bad way of doing it, I suppose. I mean, you could do that, and that still keeps it kind of locked in there. So yeah, I'm
I'm going to go like that. Now, I don't know what happened to the screw. The screw went flying, but I'll probably find that. But, I mean, even if you don't do that, I mean, that's the only thing that's really ugly on them. But, again, I do wish that the color was broken up a little bit. It does have some nice additional colors. You know, when you fold everything, obviously it kind of breaks things up. You got this gray and stuff. You got the different layering of parts here, which is pretty cool. And that rotates. You got that thigh rotation right down there, which is cool. Really nice silver paint right up on here. Very reflective. Nice silver paint down here. I just wish that there was more silver kind of splashed around. It does look good. It just could use some breakup. Unfortunately, his face is not really the best looking. Looking at that, it kind of looks like his head is he's kind of like this weird neck thing down there. It's kind of ugly. And then again, not much paint on there. Mostly just the neon green. You got some silver. You got some blue. Decent, but could be better, obviously. For his articulation, the head is just on a swivel, so it's just going to rotate left and right. Unfortunately, it doesn't look up and down. The ball joint here is really set in far, so it's good because it gives you a pretty decent range of motion with these arms without things getting in the way. I mean, this kind of gets in the way a little bit, but you can rotate that around pretty decently, and then you got a little hinge right there that allows you kind of get a little butterfly joint. You do have a rotation up, I guess, the elbow, and then you got two elbow joints. You got one here, and then you got a lower one, so pretty good range of motion in the arms themselves. Nothing at the wrist or anything, nothing at the waist. That's all locked into place. The ball joint here for the hips get a nice range of motion. A little bit loose. I mean, it's still holds it pretty decently. This one's a little bit tighter, so QC issues doesn't really seem to be something that I'm too concerned about with this particular figure. As you saw before, he does have the rotation at the thigh. I really like all that kind of layering of plastic. That's really nice. He does have a very nice tight bend here at the knee, come down to the ankles, and you have that on a ball joint, so you can kind of position that with the legs a little bit spread out. You can move them forward to back as part of the transformation. So pretty decent level of articulation in the guy. I'm happy with it. For a size comparison, as you can see, he is a little bit taller. He is a deluxe size figure. So again, we talked about how these figures are meant to scale with each other, and you can see Bumblebee is much smaller. This is still a deluxe figure, but you can see the big difference here. And honestly, that's about right. I mean, Ratchet was a bigger character when you compared him to Bumblebee. And then bringing in Berserker, because he's roughly the same size as Crowbar. I don't have Crowbar transformed, but you can see that, again, the size, I mean, he's a little bit smaller than Ratchet here, but well, not even really. That size works pretty good as well. Again, I hope they do a Ironhide. That would be really very cool to see. I know we're getting, you know, several of the other characters, like Jazz. We're getting a new Optimus. I don't remember if we saw that we're getting an Ironhide, and I don't know why I'm so interested in getting another Ironhide. But I mean, I know we're getting a masterpiece version of them, but I don't know about the Studio series. So I'm curious. But you can see that the scale here, I think, works pretty good. They are smaller figures, but I like how these look. Now for his transformation back, first we're going to come down here to these legs. You kind of position these like that on the inside, come around here to the back. Now obviously this is going to be much different than how it needs to be. You can just leave it like that. I mean, this does create some parts forming, I guess, but just set that right there. And then fold this out just like that. Then you want to take these and fold these in just like so. So again, bring these in and then fold the feet down like that. And then you just kind of hold these bits together like so. And then take this, and this is going to fold, or I'll pull these away. You don't have to put them away yet, but just kind of hold them there. And then shift these kind of into place along the sides, right? Like so. That's perfect. And then I guess, like I said, you can take this and put this on here It's gonna tab in pretty securely, and then that, I mean, you would need, I'd have to put the screw on that to keep that locked in, because that, otherwise that's going to just roll around. Oh wait, no, actually, no, because you can, that rotates around and then shifts in, so I can't just leave it like that. All right, that's pretty awesome. Take this section, we're going to detach this, bring that forward, take this little piece here, lift that up, that'll lock into place. Take the little torso bit here, rotate this. This will stay stationary. You just need to rotate like the head area and the arms. Bring that all the way around till that's straight up along like so. Rotate his head around. Take these, detach these, and kind of just swivel that out. Rotate. If you have that like that, rotate that around. Again, do that. Spin that around. Oh wait, like so. Put that there, and then bring these down. You want to bend the forearms backwards, and then just shift this in, and then you have to kind of tuck this little bit underneath this front grill area, and just sandwich everything along the side. You can take this, push that in. If you do have problems with this, know that the feet are, the little bits on the feet are what slot in here, so just push that in, and if you're having a hard time, you probably need to just reposition the feet. So again, pull all this out, take the elbow, bend this backwards like so, line that up, and then kind of swivel this under the little grill area. That's probably the trickiest part about this transformation, getting that underneath there, just like that, and then squeeze all that together. Bring that piece in. Again, make sure that that's pushed down. You got a little tab section right there, and then underneath here, it's so hard to tell. Underneath there are little tabs, but I don't feel like you need to do that there. But when you're done, there you have Ratchet back in his vehicle mode. Ratchet, though, is pretty classic. Love or hate the Michael Bay movies, most people were pretty upset when they saw Ratchet die. So that says to me that we cared about the character some. So I'm glad to see that Hasbro decided to revisit him and give him a really good looking toy. Personally, I do wish that these Studio Series figures were a little bit bigger, and I would love it if this guy was like a Voyager size, but I still do really like him. Vehicle mode wise, I do wish there was some extra paint applications, and you know, you do have visible hand syndrome, the head is showing, I mean, but for the most part, on the surface, it's a good looking vehicle. Transformation is very, very similar to what we've gotten before, so it's not anything, you know, earth-shattering. For this figure, for this character, it works. And then when we get to the robot mode, it is, in my opinion, the best looking representation of movie 1 and even movie 2 Ratchet that we've ever gotten. The shoulders look really good, which has always been something that they've kind of gotten close to getting right, but we're just a little bit off. The only thing that I don't particularly like is the top section here hanging off this back and hanging low. But as you can see, you pop that screw out and you can basically fix it up and make it look a lot better. Honestly, when I first got these figures, Ratchet was, in my mind, going to be the weakest one. But he actually turned out really very good. I'm surprisingly very happy with him. And I'm very happy to have him in my collection. So, all that being said, as I talked about previously, this first wave of deluxe figures was exclusively available early on Hasbro Toy Shop. If you'd like to check that out, I'll put a link down in the video description where you can check out availability on these and see if any remain. If you miss out on them though, don't worry. The mass retail release will be in or around April. So you'll be able to walk into stores, you'll be able to go on Big Bad Toy Store, anything like that, and pick these guys up. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, I would really appreciate you letting me know by hitting that thumbs up button. It actually does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, welcome. And before you go, make sure you subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you'll get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you'll never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you already subscribed, now more than ever it's important to make sure that you're getting those email notifications. We all know just how unreliable that YouTube subscription box is, and the best way to make sure that you continue to help support this channel and not miss any future reviews of mine is to click on that little bell right below this video and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, till all are one.